Hello everyone, welcome back. I want to share with you guys today an ambidextrous AR pistol setup. Okay, so I just finished setting this up for a couple. The situation is that the husband, right eye dominant, the wife, left eye dominant, and she's got arthritis. So sometimes she has to shoot on one left hand, sometimes she has to shoot on the right side, depending on what her, how her hand is feeling. So the point is that the gun needed to be able to shoot left side and right side. It had to be an ambidextrous gun. I considered, basically I had them try a standard AR-15 first, and what we found is that the barrel was a little too heavy for the wife. Okay, so when she was holding the gun up and shooting, after a while she would get tired. I had her try out one of my AR pistols, mine with a 7.5-inch barrel, and she loved it. The gun was light. She could hold it, shoot it for a long time. She was very comfortable shooting with. And after a couple of training sessions, we decided that would probably be the best gun for her. So I had her order a Radical AR pistol with a 7.5-inch barrel. Now the reason, first of all, that I had her order the Radical is because I knew they were shipping. I had just gotten an AR for myself. I had just received it like a week before she decided to order it, so I knew they were shipping. There was a 10-week delay. That's fine. We just received it now in December 2020, about a week ago. So we knew there was going to be a 10-week delay, but at the same time, I knew I was going to get the gun. So I had her order the AR. It arrived at her at the FFL about a week ago, and basically she had me set it up for her. So the cool thing about the Radicals is they do ship with the ambidextrous safety. That's important for two reasons. Obviously, if she's shooting left-handed, normally she would want that the thumb switch on the left side. But the other issue is that because of her arthritis situation, okay, sometimes she cannot flip that safety switch with just one finger. So she can't. Sometimes she can't do it with a thumb alone. Sometimes she can't do it with her index finger alone. But she's always able to do it if she can use two fingers. Okay, so by putting thumb on one side, index finger on the other side, she's able to use both fingers to flip the safety on and off. Okay, so this was a really important thing for her to have because of her arthritis situation. Okay, so that's the safety. So the next thing was the sling situation. Okay, so I needed a sling that would basically that could go left side or right side. And what I did is I put these M-lock, because this is an M-lock rail over here. I got her I had her get the one that was the most skeletonized to keep the gun as light as possible. And what I did is I put a QD mounting point on both sides. Okay. First of all, I really like these slings. You see how it's like a little triangle thing? It's a little bit smaller. So I tend to like these a lot. So it can go either on this side or on this side. So she can put it on this side, the husband can put it on the other side. And the cool thing about these Radical AR pistols is that they come with the SB A3 brace, which also has a QD mounting point, and that will also attach to either side. Okay, so you can put it on that side, or you can put it on this side. Oops, I just lost it. And again, this is really where it pays to get the small triangle ones, because this is a really cramped area over here, and the smaller one really fits it a lot better. And these are basically the same price. So the way I set up the slings is, if you're shooting this right-handed, right, I'll have you put the front sling point on the left side, and then the rear one on the right side. So they're on opposite sides. Okay, so the reason they're on opposite sides is because this helps control the gun a lot better. The other thing is that you can also do, if you're shooting right-handed, you can come out and do a left side transition, right, without this, without this choking you. Okay, if this was on the other side, this would choke you. With this, you can go back and forth to either side. So these QD mounts are pretty cheap. I think they were like $10 or $15. The sling itself, I think it's a $10 sling, nothing too expensive. With this one over here, one of the things that I checked, it does have like a screw and bolt system. So you, basically I Loctite it at. Okay, so that's really important. You have to, anything that screws, you gotta Loctite. Okay. Same thing over here with this ambidextrous safety. I almost forgot to mention it. This is the way these ambidextrous safeties are. It's just a standard safety selector switch, and then there's an extra piece that basically just screws on the right side. Well, they usually don't Loctite that down, and I guarantee you it will vibrate loose, and you'll lose the screw, and you'll probably lose the switch itself. So yeah, so if you get an ambidextrous safety selector, you must unscrew that screw, Loctite it, screw it back in, and let it dry. Okay, so that's really important. All right, so that's the sling situation. Let's talk about the light. Okay, I've got here the Streamlight TLR1 HL 1000 looms. Initially, my initial thought was to use a standard rifle light. However, you can see this is almost as long as the rail itself. All right, and the other thing is because it's so long, right? If I mounted it on this side, I would not be able to flip the sling around to this side. Okay, so so by putting the light on the side over here, kind of limits my sling options. Right, I can't keep going back and forth from left side to right side. So the other problem with this is if I attach this, I would have to use a pressure pad, right? Which is fine if you're only shooting righty or only shooting a lefty, right? Because you gotta zip tie down the wire. So you know, if you mount this on the, if your sling is on the left side, this has to go on the right side. The pressure pad's on top. Well, you can't, because it's zip tied down, you can't easily switch it to the other side. By having this pistol light, right, the Streamlight pistol light over here, I can basically work that with this hand, or I can work it with this hand, right? So you can see how easy I can go back and forth, work this with either hand. So by having this on top, you know, it can, you know, you can work it with either hand, lefty or righty. It's really not in the way. When I look through my scope, okay, that looks like a front sight post on you know, on an AR. If you have an AR that has a fixed front sight post, that's what that looks like. Okay, so your red dot or your circle dot sitting right on top of that. So this doesn't obstruct your vision at all, I find. So naturally, I had to, because the light's up here, I had to move my backup sights over here. The back side, you know, first of all, the red dot on this is the Holosun 503CU. It's got battery, right? It's solar powered with a battery backup, and for this type of a situation, like in a home defense type of setup, I don't want to keep it in solar power mode. I want to switch it to manual mode, right, to battery mode, because remember this has that auto. It basically powers down after 10 minutes of non-use, and then it has shake awake, where it, you know, once you pick it up, it comes back on. Okay, so you're not going to run down your battery. The reason why I want to keep it in manual mode is because I want to set the brightness setting, okay, so that I can see my circle dot regardless of whether the light is on or light is off. Because if you keep it in solar power mode and it manually adjusts, well, what's going to happen is the sensor's on top, and then if you're shooting in a dark situation, it's looking up, it's seeing that there's not much light, so it powers your circle dot down. But then that circle dot's going to wash out once you turn on 1,000 looms of light. Okay, so what I want to do is I want to manually set my circle dot so that I can see it regardless of whether the light is on or light is off. Okay, so that's why you want to, you know, your home defense rifle, you want to set this up in manual mode. So that's how I'm going to set this up for her. So as far as the backup sights, you know, basically I got it obviously behind the light, because that's the only place where it can go. It's got to go behind the light. I got a co-witness. Okay, if for some reason this red dot stopped working, okay, you know, I mean, it doesn't matter that the sights are so close to each other. I mean, if you think of it this way, when you're shooting your Glock, right, or any other pistol, you know, how close are is your front sight and your rear sight, right? And you can still hit your targets out to about, you know, 30 yards. Okay, so the sights being this close is not a problem as far as I'm concerned, because basically, like I said, these are backup sights, and the other reason why I like having them there is if I need to change out the red dot. You know, let's say I take this off, put another one on here. Well, it's really easy and fast for me to zero in the replacement red dot, because I use the iron sights as a reference point. I zero to that, and then usually I just got to take a couple of shots, and I'm able to zero pretty quickly. Okay, because simply by zeroing to your iron sights will usually bring you within 1 or 2 inches at about 30 yards. Okay, so anyway, most of the time these will be down, and again, anything with screws is Loctited down. Okay, so all the QD mounting points here, they're all Loctited down. Front rear sight Loctited down. The blue Loctite, of course, so you can take it off if you want to. The same thing with the scope, Loctited down. I did not lock down the light because that's something that we may want to take on and off pretty pretty often, right? If we're shooting this in the daytime, we probably don't want that on there, so that's something that's going to go on and off. So that didn't lock down, but anything else with screws gets Loctited down. So yeah, that's the ambidextrous AR pistol setup. It's I think she's gonna love it. She hasn't shot this gun yet. When she got it, it just had it was just a flat top. It didn't have anything on it. Yeah, I'm gonna edit this part in. I forgot to mention the linear compensator. Really important on an AR pistol or any AR that has a barrel of less than 16 inches. The gun is extremely loud. Okay, if you have a barrel that's less than 16 inches, so you need this linear compensator. Basically, you unscrew the bird cage flash hider that comes with it, and you screw this on. It takes a little bit of work to get it on there. To do that, what I did is I removed the rail, right? Because you don't want to like clamp onto the rail because you're going to bend it or you're going to break the receiver. You're going to remove the rail, and then what you do is you use a vise to clamp the barrel, right? You wrap the barrel in some type of a cloth or rubber. Actually, use rubber to hold it in place. So you clamp the barrel, and then you remove the bird cage that comes with it, and then you put this on there because this sends the noise downrange. And that's the reason why I got the 7.5-inch barrel instead of a 10-inch barrel, because if I got the 10-inch barrel, then this would have added to it, and then again now the gun's getting longer and heavier. By starting off with a 7.5-inch barrel and adding this extra 2 or 3 inches over here, the gun still stays short and light. Okay, the lightness was an important requirement here. The gun had to stay light so that the wife could easily shoot this gun. Okay, so linear compensator. This one I got from Midway. It costs somewhere between $30 and $50. So that's something that you're going to absolutely need if you have an AR pistol. Otherwise, the gun just gets too loud and it's just unpleasant to shoot. And you're just not going to want to practice as much. And especially women, they're not going to want to practice with the gun if it's unbearably loud. Okay, this makes it comfortable to shoot. So, let me tell you guys the backstory to this. A couple of months ago, the couple called me up and they told me they just bought a new pistol, and they wanted me to meet them at a range to train them on it, right? The husband had shot like hunting rifles before. She had never shot any guns before, okay? So I got there, she was shooting, she had just bought the SIG 365, which is a tiny little pistol. And, I went through all the gun safety stuff with her, how to hold the gun, how to stand, how to lean into the gun. And she's, now this is a small woman and an older woman, okay? And like I said, she's left-eye dominant. She's got arthritis in her hands, and she's having a real hard time hitting an 11x8 paper at about 15 feet, okay, with that pistol, okay? So I had brought along my PX9, which is a 9mm AR-style rifle. And the reason why I brought that along is because I knew that she would have a 9mm pistol. And when I saw that she couldn't hit anything with the little pistol, I said, okay, here, try this rifle. So the rifle had a red dot on it. And, at 15 feet, she was like, all of a sudden she's getting groupings like this, okay? Then I had to go out to 30 feet. I took her all the way out to about almost 85 feet. And she's still, she's hitting an 8x11 paper. And then, she's like, oh, this is great. This is what I need. I go, yep, that's definitely what you need. Then I went through the whole thing with her. I explained that the rifle is the primary gun, pistol's a backup gun, or you use your pistol to fight your way to your rifle. So we did a couple more training sessions together at this location, at this range that I met her at. And then at some point I'm saying, okay, listen, at this point we know what's going to work best for you. We know what you need. And then I told her, listen, you're going to order yourself an AR an AR pistol, 7.5-inch barrel. You know, in fact, I sent her a link to exactly what she should get. And I said, okay, this is the FFL you're going to send it to, you know, and, you know, 10 weeks later, you know, she got the rifle, and I'm setting it up for her. She has not shot this yet. She's going to love it when she gets it. So I just wanted to share that experience for you guys. And the key component here is that, you know, we have an older couple, you know, one of them right side dominant, the other one left side dominant. The lady's got arthritis in her hands, and I had to figure out something that would work for both of them, and this was it. You know, AR pistol with an AR, you know, 7.5-inch AR pistol with an ambidextrous setup on it. If you guys like this video, give it a thumbs up, share it, you know, post some comments. If you're not a member, subscribe. I'll see you guys next time.